Justin here at J-Tech, and I'm going to show you today how to adjust the valve lash in this truck. This is a Peterbilt 379 with a Caterpillar C15. We've already removed the valve covers and the brackets that support the radiator. We also, for this truck, had to remove the downpipe for the exhaust to access the port for the barring tool. Now for this particular truck with the C15, we have an access port for the barring tool that you remove here, so that you can turn the engine. With the barring tool. Once you've removed the cover, in the same spot on the upper right of the port, there's a hole. And this hole is so that you can align with two holes in the crank, or the flywheel. And when you turn it, when the bolt drops into the hole, you'll be at either cylinder 1 top dead center or cylinder 6 top dead center. And this correlates with your valve chart, so you can tell which valve you need to adjust when you have either 1 or 6 at top dead center. Now once you've done that and you've got the bolt to drop into the hole, You verify which is at top dead center by looking at your chart. And then it'll say if one is at top dead center, you have intake valves for 1, 2, and 4, where they're not on the rising load of the cam. You grab the rocker itself and shake it. And if you can move it, then you know that is the one that you're at. Right, so according to our sheet, the intake lash should be at 15 thousandths and the exhaust should be at 30 thousandths. So starting with 1. You'll slip the feeler gauge between the rocker and the bridge, and then wiggle it back and forth like so, pulling it in and out. You should feel just a little bit of resistance. You'll be able to slip it in and out. So for this, we also have number 1 on the exhaust as well. So switch to our 30 thousandths feeler gauge. It's a little difficult to get these in there on these motors. Slide it in there like so. That one's good. Then next we have number 2 on intake. We'll go back to our 15 thousandths. That's pretty good. The next is 3 on exhaust. That's way too loose, so that needs adjusting. So for these, you'll need a 9/16 wrench and a flathead screwdriver. Now to adjust these, you've got a slot in the top of the adjuster, and then you've got a set nut. So how you do this, you put a flat-headed screwdriver in the slot, and you use your 9/16 wrench to break loose your set nut. Now that you got it loose, take your feeler gauge and put it in there. Turn it a little bit at a time and then check your resistance. way you want it. Use the screwdriver to keep the adjuster from turning, while you use the wrench to tighten the lock nut back down. And once you've got that snug, you double check with your feeler gauge that it's still at the setting you want and the adjuster didn't move while you're tightening the nut. So that's good. Pause. Hold on. Now that I've got all my lash adjustment on my valves done, before you turn it over, you go ahead and check the adjustment on your engine brake on all the exhaust valves. It says on the chart. So for this one, I can adjust 1, 3, and 5 while I'm at it. And this works similar to the valve lash adjustment, but it calls for 33 thousandths. And the adjustment for this will be between the piston for the engine brake and the exhaust rocker arm. So that's 1, 3. You want just a little bit of resistance, the same as the valve lash. And 5. So that one's a little loose, so on the engine brake works basically the same as the valves. Break loose your lock nut, and you use the slot, turn it, to tighten up your adjustment. Happy. Again, you hold it with a screwdriver, use the wrench to lock down the lock nut. And for the final step, you want to go back and make sure you've got the right torque on all your lock nuts. For this, they're all 22 foot-pounds. Take your torque wrench. Once you've got the lock nut snug down pretty tight, the adjuster won't move when you go to torque it. much it for adjusting the valves and the engine brakes on a Caterpillar C15. Thank you for watching my video. Have a good one.